What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about gas prices, where they're headed, and the good news for the US consumers, because guess what? Gas prices are starting to go down. Okay, well, not starting to go down. They've been going down for about the past month or so. Good news is they're continuing to drop. That's great news, right? Again, I had to travel for business over the past couple of days. This will be pretty much my last day here, and I'm gonna have to, drive back home. Well, what I can tell you is driving is much more enjoyable now that gas prices are not $5 a gallon and they're, under $4. So that's good news there. But let's get right into this, because one of the questions I've been getting so many times in comments is, okay, great, gas prices are dropping, but where do you expect them to be in, a month, in 2 months, in 6 months? Well, I want to cover that, because over the past month or so, gas prices have been dropping, and they're falling here in the United States, even though we're seeing some different stories across the world. But many people bring up the question, where are gas prices headed? Well, let's talk about that, because here's what we know. First off, China's struggling economy is likely to cause gas prices globally to dip, at least temporarily. And this is because of supply and demand. If China's economy doesn't need as much fuel because people aren't traveling and they're pretty much being locked down, you may have saw the story probably a couple days ago where there's people trying to get out of an IKEA in China because they were about to be locked into the building. So you may have seen a bunch of these videos. If you have, hit that thumbs up button, but let me know down in the comment section below. What's the craziest story you've seen coming out of China recently? That was one of them, because again, I shop at IKEA all the time in Renton, Washington, and I couldn't even fathom what it would be like to be stuck in that building for days or hours, longer than I have to be in there. But anyway, but this is kind of what we're expecting as China has their zero COVID policy. We could see more and more businesses shut down. We could see more lockdowns within specific cities. And as we do, and millions of people get locked down, the problem is they're not traveling, right? They're not driving anywhere. So even though it's a problem there, it's good news for us here in the United States, because there's less demand across the globe, which means prices for fuel are actually less. So good news for us here. But again, that's only temporary. That's temporary. And I say this because there's more fears out there as to where prices are going to go. And I want to address this in today's video, because there are some things that are potentially good news for us here in the United States, but there's also some bad news as well. So here's what I can tell you. First off, gas prices have been falling. And again, it's a lot of it has to do with President Biden. You gotta give credit to him. He did dip into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and release millions of barrels of oil. Now, temporarily, that's good news because it brings the price of gas down. The problem is, once that subsides, once that this thing ends, right? We're not releasing millions of barrels of oil every single day. The problem is, then we have to take some of the oil that we are drilling. We have to take some of that and put it back into the petroleum reserve, which means there's less supply out there for the rest of the world and the United States. Again, that's hurting our supply and demand. So that's one of the issues we're going to have there. Is that's coming up this fall. We're going to see that this fall, that we are going to have to, first stop releasing millions of barrels of oil, but at the same time go and refill our stock, our supply, because really it's dwindling down to record lows. But there again, here's some more good news here in the United States. Is some are saying that historically we actually see gas prices fall during the months of September, October, November, December, just because people are going back to work, kids are back in school, not many people are driving. We're doing more carpools, which is a great thing for our environment and as well as our wallets. But it's kind of what we're seeing. Summer travel is coming to an end, and we see this all the time. So as this happens, gas prices are actually going to go down. The problem is gas prices go down because of this, but they go up because of our strategic petroleum reserve not releasing millions of barrels of oil. So again, we'll see what happens there. But here's something else I want to touch on, is I want to touch on what is going on with Russia. I haven't talked about Russia lately, and the reason I haven't talked about Russia a whole lot lately is simply because some people are tired of hearing about Russia, tired of hearing about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine or Russia and China. Well, here's what I can tell you. Currently, all of the sanctions that have been put in place for Russian oil, not all of these have gone into effect yet. A lot more of these are going to go into effect in September and October. Well, when these happen, according to reports, as soon as this happens, Russia or Europe will be required to find oil from other countries. And as they are looking to other countries to try to find their oil, what's going to happen is this is actually going to put upward pressure on prices. So for us here in the United States, it's going to cost a little bit more to get oil, which means it's going to cost more to produce gas. So what I can tell you is where prices are headed. Honestly, there's multiple people that say they're going to go back up. There's a lot of people that say no, they're just going to keep going down. But let me give you my thoughts on this, and let me know your thoughts as well. My expectation is oil prices, and specifically gas, the price of gas is going to go down. Okay. Do I think it's going to drop under $3 a gallon? I don't. Okay. I don't think it will. I think we're going to see some downward pressure. It's going to be pushed down. It's going to get a little bit less expensive, but I still think it's going to be about that $3.30 to $3.50 range. I think that's kind of where it's going to bottom, and then we're going to see it go back up. Now, we're still a little ways away. We're like 50, 60 cents. So I do think it's going to take some time. I don't think it's going to happen in 2022. My best guess is it's going to drop into the maybe $3.80 range nationally across the United States as an average, but then it's going to head back up. Okay, as it heads back up, I think it's going to top off right about that $4.30 range. Then it's going to start to fall, and I think as it falls, it's going to take a little bit of time. But it's all because of a few things. First, the midterm elections. I don't think the Biden administration is going to let gas prices just go and surge again, especially right before the election. And I also think they're going to try to do whatever they can to bring prices down as we get closer to the presidential election, because that's going to be devastating for Democrats if they can't bring the prices down quickly. So that's my expectation. But again, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love hearing what you guys have to think, what you guys are expecting prices to do over the next few months or even the next couple of years. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.